Welcome back. All right, news of the day video for all you fine people on the internet for your Thursday, April the 10th. We are exactly 1 week away from the end of the regular season. So, starting at the top of the board, some news of the day for all you fine people on the internet, beginning with the Devils. Jonas Siegenthaler, who's been out for a while, he did take to the ice today, not wearing equipment, just out apparently skating in a tracksuit. And Sheldon Keefe, when asked about it, saying very preliminary steps towards a return. So, for Jonas Siegenthaler, he's not close, may not be ready for round one. I would think probably not, where they will face the Carolina Hurricanes. The worst kept secret in hockey would be New Jersey and Carolina, that 2-3 matchup in the Metro. And that has been confirmed now. So, yeah, we'll see how things go for the New Jersey Devils in the playoffs. Minus some pretty big names. Jack Hughes, Jonas Siegenthaler, just to name a couple. So coming out of last night's action too, the Vancouver Canucks officially eliminated from playoff contention. Not a huge surprise that they're officially out. Calgary's hanging on just barely, just like they're basically hanging from wire, and they got like their pinky just right over that wire, trying to hold themselves up. Utah has also been mathematically eliminated from playoff contention, so we are very close to seeing which 16 teams are going to be in the playoffs. Basically, one regulation win for Montreal almost completely clinches in the East. And out west, Minnesota and St. Louis very, very close to clinching as well. Now, getting into some more injury news, Nick Cousins in a regular jersey at practice for the Ottawa Senators, so he's very close to a return. Could be back for the next game. Brady Tkachuk absent at the morning skate. I'm not surprised. I'm not at all surprised. I think they're taking their time. They're treating him with kid gloves, so to speak. Want to make sure he's ready for the playoffs. Don't worry about the regular season. You've already clinched a playoff spot. Now it's all about making sure you've got a healthy lineup come playoff time. Nathan MacKinnon will not be playing for the Colorado Avalanche tonight against Vancouver, and Coach Bednar saying he probably won't play this weekend. So, of course, MacKinnon is in the hunt for the Art Ross Trophy. We'll see if this means that, Kucherov is going to end up getting that trophy now. But, of course, trophies aren't something that is going to be front of mind for players at this time of year other than one, and that's the Stanley Cup. Boston news, not really surprised by this. McAvoy and Kastelik, while they're both making strides towards being good for a return, they will not return before the end of the season. Once again, the season ends a week from tonight, so I'm not overly surprised. It really is about making sure the McAvoy's good to go for training camp for the Boston Bruins, and maybe Hampus Lindholm as well. They've missed these guys greatly on the blue line. It has had a dramatic effect on the team's ability to shut down scoring for the other team, and I would imagine that the goaltending tandem of Swayman and Korpisalo probably miss having McAvoy and Lindholm out there as well. Seguin, a full participant at practice for the Dallas Stars. It is easy to forget with how well Dallas has played over the last few months that they're missing a couple of major parts to this lineup. Seguin, should he be ready to go for the playoffs, it'll be interesting to see if do you put him on the third line? Do you put him on the second line? Do you bump anybody down? Where does he play? And Miro Heiskanen is seen as being a step behind Seguin in terms of the trend towards a return. It doesn't sound like Heiskanen will be ready for the start of the playoffs, but we'll see what ends up happening there. If Heiskanen's ready to go, if Sagan's back in the lineup, they're going to need all hands on deck in a very likely series against Colorado to be able to beat Colorado. Macklin Celebrini now holds the San Jose Sharks rookie points record. In 66 games this year, 24 goals, 38 assists, 62 points. Celebrini's a fantastic talent. And he had a really strong game last night for them against Minnesota in a game where defense was not present, definitely not. The goaltending was shaky at times as well, of course, but when you have 15 goals in a game, that's kind of the stat right there that tells you about the defense and the goaltending in that one. But yeah, Celebrini won't complain, having a 5-point night. And it's worthy of note here that Will Smith, with his 4-point night, he keeps moving up that rookie points ladder as well in the San Jose organization. So Sharks, pretty much set for the future there. Pittsburgh news, of course, they're playing out the string. Bemstrom, Ponomarev, and Pustin have been recalled, and it's been announced that Achari, Lizotte, McGroarty, Nieto, and Novak are all going to miss the rest of the season. So it's a shame about McGroarty because he looked good in the call-up there for Pittsburgh. But this does give a chance for Bemstrom, Ponomariev, and Puustinen to get in a little bit of action before the season's done. These guys are playing for jobs next year. So even in the games where there isn't anything on the line in terms of playoffs, there are some players out there who want to make sure that they're letting the team know, hey, I want to be here next year, and maybe give them a look where the GM says, you know what, we'll keep that guy around for a bit. Sorokin is injured for the New York Islanders. Patrick Waugh not providing a timeline. The Islanders, one of the 4 teams tied for that spot below the playoffs. All 4 of them in action tonight as well. So since the Islanders are highly unlikely to catch the Montreal Canadiens in that final playoff spot, totally understandable if Sorokin ends up missing the rest of the regular season if they don't rush him back. Sorokin played a ton with Varlamov being injured. I will be curious to see what the Islanders do in the offseason because they're not making the playoffs this season. They're 8 points back now. They could be double digits back at least, especially with Sorokin out. So we'll see what kind of moves they make this summer. If they trend towards, maybe we need to retool things on the fly, or if they just try to add more veterans and see what they can do next season. This is a 1-year anniversary for fans in Arizona. Which fans in Arizona, of course, dread. Is the 1-year anniversary of when the news came out that there was a very real chance that the Arizona Coyotes were about to move to Utah, and that Ryan Smith was ready to become a National Hockey League owner at that point. And the Arizona Coyotes, of course, through an odd process, they basically moved to Utah while keeping their team inactive. Officially, the Arizona Coyotes are still inactive. Officially. We don't have any updates at this point in terms of any kind of trend towards a return to Arizona. But we know there are people who are trying to make that happen, and that the NHL has not closed that door, as much as some may be very vocal about needing to close that door. The NHL has not done so. We'll see. Now that it's a full year, we'll see if there's some kind of update somewhere from somebody on, hey, since it's been a year, here's some updates on what the potential return might look like. I'm not thinking there will be, but anyways, just throwing that out there. All right, let's go ahead and talk about tonight's action. So we got 10 games in the NHL. We have 3 starting at 4 Pacific, 7 Eastern. 2 a half an hour after that, 1 a half an hour later, and then we got 4 games that start later on in the evening. So 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific, Chicago in Boston against the Bruins. Both of these teams mathematically eliminated from the playoff picture. Chicago 2-7-1. Oliver Moore's playing on the wing with Bedard tonight, apparently. That could be fun. Oliver Moore's looked good since coming up. Boston's 2-8 in their last 10 games. Morgan Geekie's at 30 goals. Maybe he gets a goal or 2 tonight. We shall see. 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific start. Detroit, who are hanging on by a thread. 4-5-1 in their last 10. 8 points back of a playoff spot. Florida, 4-5-1 in their last 10 as well. And now they're 3 points behind Tampa for second place in the division. So Florida's been trending in the wrong direction. They did get a win in their last game out, though. And then Ottawa lost their last game. So Florida feels like not necessarily safe and secure in third, but they should be able to keep third place. If they win tonight, of course, then Tampa Bay stays in their sights. If they lose tonight, it's going to make things a little more difficult, isn't it? 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific start. Buffalo in Columbus against the Blue Jackets. Buffalo, 8-2 in their last 10. Yep, it's got to be frustrating, as I said, that they seem to play better when they're mathematically eliminated, which they are. Columbus, 4-5-1 in their last 10 games. They're 8 points back of a playoff spot, so they're one of those 4 teams all trying against all odds to get closer to the Montreal Canadiens and hope to keep their playoff hopes alive. 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific. It is the rematch between Carolina and Washington. Last time out, this game got ugly. I will have the Primate Magnet ready to go just in case I need it tonight. So for Carolina, they're second in the Metro. They're 5-5 in their last 10. Washington, they're first in the Metro, 5-4-1 in their last 10. So these teams aren't going to meet in the first round, but they could meet in the second round. And it could be a very ugly series in that second round, and ugly in the best way. A lot of physical activities when it comes to all the hitting, probably some punching, maybe a couple of fights, probably some cross-checking in front of both nets. This game could be interesting tonight. Carolina's not a fighty team, but it does feel like in that last game things escalated to the point where I think they will be a bit of a fighty team tonight, and I do expect there to be some I don't want to say ugliness to the game, because it makes it sound like, oh, all the fighting can be ugly. It can be if it's out of control and whatnot, but this is going to be interesting. I think one thing to keep an eye on is how tight do the referees call this game early? And if we start seeing some really kind of cheap penalties being called, where normally they'd let some stuff go, it might be a sign that the referees are trying to, keep this under control before things get out of control. So that's one thing that they didn't really do in the last game between these two teams. That's part of the reason things got so ugly. 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific start as well for the New York Rangers in Long Island against the New York Islanders. The New York Rangers 3-6-1 in their last 10 games. They're 8 points back of a playoff spot. The loss last night against Philly really just shows how inconsistent the Rangers are even within a game. That's a game you have to win. You're against a Philadelphia team that's not in the hunt for a playoff spot, and they blew it. The New York Islanders, on the other hand, they're 3-4-3 in their last 10 games, also 8 points back of a playoff spot. So whoever wins this game eliminates the other from playoff contention. I'm pretty sure on that anyways. I know for sure that's the case with the Rangers because they've played one more game than the other teams that they're tied 8 points back of Montreal with. So the Islanders can officially end the Rangers' dream tonight. We shall see if that takes place. 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific start. The Winnipeg Jets in Dallas against the Stars. Winnipeg 6-4 in their last 10. 4 points ahead of Dallas. Dallas 7-1-2 in their last 10 games and 6 points ahead of Colorado. I'll be curious to see how Dallas bounces back after that meltdown against the Vancouver Canucks. And this should be a highly entertaining, very, very likely to be game of the night. This could very well be a second round preview as well. 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific start. Vancouver in Colorado. Vancouver 4-4-2 in their last 10 games. Officially eliminated from playoff contention. I will be curious to see how the Canucks play now that they're officially eliminated. For the Avalanche, they're 7-2-1 in their last 10, and as previously mentioned, they're 6 points back of Dallas. They need this one tonight, and they'll need some help if they're going to catch the Stars. I don't think it's likely, but hey, it is possible. 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific start. Nashville in Utah. Both of these teams mathematically eliminated. Nashville 3-7 in their last 10. Utah 6-3-1 in their last 10. So for Utah, I still feel like there's been some good progress made from last season in Arizona for this team, but I do wonder what kind of changes are going to be made in the offseason because they need to get closer to and above that playoff line, don't they? So Utah hosting Nashville should be a fun one, probably a bunch of goals. That one. 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific start. The Seattle Kraken in Vegas against the Vegas Golden Knights. Seattle 4-5-1 in their last 10. They're mathematically out of the playoffs, of course, but Vegas 7-2-1 in their last 10. 6 points ahead of LA atop the division. They want to win the division, so this could end up being kind of a lopsided game if Seattle doesn't bring their A game. Vegas is going to want to win the division. 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific start. The Battle of California here. Anaheim and LA. Anaheim 6-4 in their last 10, and they showed last night against Calgary. Do not count them out. Even though they're below that playoff line and not making it to the playoffs, mathematically eliminated and all that, this is a team that's played pretty well down the stretch. The Kings 7-3 in their last 10 and 2 points ahead of Edmonton in second place in that division. So they want to hold second place, hold off the Oilers, and have home ice in that first round. I'm calling it because it's two California teams, so there'll probably be some punching at some point during that game. That seems to be the likeliest scenario. I'll even try to call who. I'll say Gudis and LaFerriere at some point kind of tangle up and there's some punching that goes on there. So along those lines. Or maybe Gudis and Doughty have an argument over who has the best beard. And that leads to some kind of argument. Anyways, let me know, and then fisticuffs. But let me know your thoughts, including your picks for tonight. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe in the event you may not have done so already. So 1 week from tonight will be the end of the regular season, and then we have that Friday where there's no hockey, and then on the Saturday, all the playoffs get started. So let me know your thoughts. Hit like and subscribe if you haven't already done so. Thank you guys so much for all your support as always. I will talk to you again soon.